one, you're rolling.
Hey, Rain Car Wash team members, Jacob here to talk to you about the most important position in our car wash, and that is the tunnel boss position. This position describes the team member that is safely loading vehicles onto our conveyor belt system. As we go through this process, this team member has a responsibility for fully inspecting the entire vehicle and the necessary retracts that we will put on the VQ system here. So this is the tunnel boss station here. I've got the VQ screen. I've got a screen here that shows me the rear of the vehicle, and also an overhead shot of the vehicle so I can make sure that the vehicle is lined up properly. I've got my pre-spray pedal here on the floor to dress the vehicle. I've got my slow and neutral no brake paddle, which you'll see me use in this video. And then I also have my prep buckets here. I have one for rinsing, and then I have one filled with 2 ounces of lemon suds for prepping. So the most critical thing about being the boss, the tunnel boss, is being alert and aware to all the vehicles that are approaching. You never want a vehicle to enter the facility while you have your back or you're even partially turned. This is the way that we should receive all vehicles at Rain Car Wash, in a good loading position with our eyes on the vehicle, watching them come in slowly. If somebody is coming in fast, slow them down. If you need to back them up, we want them to approach you slowly so that we can line them up nice and straight before they get onto the belt. Another critical item is the headset that I'm wearing. You'll see me load a vehicle right now. So I'm going to move the cone. I'm going to get to a safe loading position. It's on 1 second.
And Jake, we like to keep that cone up when we're not active, right? So nobody comes in.
Yep. I'm safely loading him in. He's coming in nice and slow. He's getting the pre-spray. He's coming in. He's actually very nicely lined up. I'm going to stop him right there. Stop. In 1 second, I'm going to check his tire alignment. Looks good. I am going to just quickly prep his front license plate. And once he processes down the vehicle or down the conveyor, I will prep the rear. So he has no retracts we're going to put on the vehicle. So I am going to go ahead and put him on the belt. Again, I'm in complete control here. I'm going to say nice and slow. Once he's on the belt, I show him the sign, neutral, no brake. I'm going to show it to him, give him a thumbs up. He's nice and good to go.
And I just want to emphasize the way, Jacob, you did that. Obviously touching the back license plate as you just did with the brush. But the fact that you really made sure that the guests could see the neutral, no brake signage. You didn't just flip it around and walk away. You made sure to make eye contact with the guests, correct?
Absolutely. This position is all about control. You are in complete control. Back up a little more.
Notice he's not afraid to back the guest up to get him properly aligned.
All right, there we go. That's what I want. Now I can check for my critical retracts. All right, I don't see any retracts on here. He's got his mirrors in. How you doing, sir?
Nothing wrong.
Sorry, I just had to line you up.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? You need any help? Are you good? All right, you're not on the belt yet. I'm just going to load you another foot, and then I'll show you the sign for neutral, okay?
Made sure his side view mirrors were in. We can always ask the guest. Sometimes they're automatic.
Roll your window
up.
up.
We can ask them to put them in. We never want to fold in side view mirrors without asking the guest. If they ask us to assist them, we can do so. But we never fold in a guest mirrors without asking them first. Very important.
Right.
Jake is using the hog's hair brush on the front and rear license plate. And Jake, if you would, talk a little bit about also the prep guns and how you try to use those first before the hog's hair brush, correct?
Yeah, that's a great point, Ari. So I'm always trying to remove solids off of a vehicle before using the brush. So if I see road solids or I see bird poop or bugs or anything like that, my first instinct is always, let me use the prep brush let me use the prep gun to use water to remove any of that debris from the vehicle. So always spray first before using the brush.
I want to emphasize that point for all listing team members. We never use a brush on the paint of the vehicle unless we first use the pressure gun. If you think about it, if there's sand and dirt and rocks, little pebbles on the paint, and we apply the brush to that dry, so to speak, we could scratch the paint.
And I'm just doing a license plate area, right?
Which is okay without a prep brush, right? But if you're going to do the entirety of a tailgate of a pickup, for instance, you want to hit it with the prep gun first.
We got one more vehicle here.
Right? Notice he's in control. He's using his foot pedal to blast the vehicle. Stopping the vehicle.
All right, this one's good because I have some surface solids here.
He's blasting some of these surface solids off. There was some bird droppings that he took off.
And I'm going to check my retracts. I look at my load. Everything looks good so far. No retracts on this sedan. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put him on.
Remember, he's very careful to make sure the guest sees neutral, no brakes. He doesn't just flip that around and walk away.
Yeah, see, this guy made eye contact with me, and he gave me a thumbs up that he is in neutral. All right. Just getting back to my list here. One thing is, if we have guests that are having difficulty following directions, you saw how I talked to the gentleman. I always prefer a conversation instead of screaming through a car window. Have them roll down their window, talk to the guest about what's about to happen. Safe loading procedures. We have here on the door our safe loading procedures. We always want to make sure that these safe loading procedures are followed. Right? Guide the vehicle in, stop before the belt, inspect, add your retracts. These are all things that you get trained on before you become the tunnel boss. Areas of concern with the guests. If we have areas of concern, we want to make sure we're having that conversation with the guests before we put them on the belt. If I see a car coming in and their bumper is hanging off, you may need to use your discretion to not wash the vehicle at all. We may have a conversation with the guest here that says, I'm concerned that your vehicle may not survive the wash. That gives people an opportunity to turn away or accept that their vehicle may become damaged.
Jake, let me just add to that. So, the point position is a critical team member as well in this, right? We work as a team. You mentioned the headsets and why they're so important. If the point is out there at lane 2 and lane 1, and they see something that's of concern, they should have already addressed those with the guests. If it was an aftermarket component that may not survive the wash, if there's items in a truck bed or it's excessively dirty, we would ask and always desire that the point is communicating to the tunnel boss those conditions. In any event, it's the critical job of the tunnel boss to pick them up if they don't get picked up before that vehicle enters right here at the tunnel entrance. So ultimately, the buck stops with the tunnel boss in making sure that any retracts are in place or if there's anything of concern on the vehicle, it gets addressed before we load that vehicle.
This person's got a broken piece on their car. I just want to let you know, I see you got a busted mirror there.
It's good. And there's no fault to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that it's not capable of it, but if it's not, then it's
All right, I just want to make you aware that it may not survive the wash or may become more damaged.
Oh, no, it's fine. I lost it. It's fine.
Okay.
I've been through here a couple times.
You've been, okay, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure. All right, just have your window up
Yep.
and just follow my instructions, okay? So again, that person had vehicle damage. I wanted to make sure that we took a moment to address it with her. She said she's fine. She's been through before. I ultimately want her to know that she's going to be responsible for that. Second.
Stop the gas.
Check for my retracts. All right, I'm gonna put a roof retract. You have a question?
We were just no AC. We're getting a breather.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's hot. All right, I'll go ahead and put her on the belt.
And he'll use the prep brush just to do the rear plate.
Rear plate and any SUV scoop. That's all we care about, right? Nice and quick. I'm gonna tell the guy behind me I'm not in a good loading position. Can I just have you back up?
And Jacob, you did that rear scoop on that vehicle just so that we could make sure the brushes aren't going to get under there. Just the scoop though. You didn't do the entirety of the back.
Yep, I just want to get that area because our brushes are not going to be able to touch it as well as a human in a brush. So this guy's got bird poop on his hood. Again, I'm going for my brush first. Right, I'm going to address
Your
any
prep
surface.
gun, rather.
Yeah, I keep saying brush. Yes, my prep gun. I'm going to blow it off with high pressure water. This guy's already got some retracts on here. Members are going to have retracts saved. He's got the right one saved. Go ahead and put him on.
Jake, while you do so, with this procedure where you're not working with a wingman, so to speak,
Yes.
you are relying on this video screen
Yes.
to help you see the rear of the vehicle and to also help you see the passenger side of the vehicle to make sure the tires are aligned, right?
Yes.
And because you're not working with a wing, we're really reducing the prepping to just that rear scoop as you demonstrated on the previous car and the license plate front and rear.
Yeah, and for good reason too. The wash is going to do a lot of the cleaning, and we need to let it do a lot of the cleaning, right? So the license plate areas are typically difficult for the wash to take care of, and those SUV scoops. Welcome them on the belt. Again, always showing them signs neutral.
Again, taking extra precautions to make sure the guest sees that. And the last couple of things I'll narrate, Jake, again, you see him doing the scoop. That's an area the brushes won't reach because of the forward slant of that rear glass on the tailgate of the vehicle. Jacob, you would say that this is a process you could typically execute in about 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I want to demonstrate that because once you get really good at this, it actually gets to be a lot of fun. And that might sound corny, but it does. Once you get into the groove, it's a lot of fun to load the cars and to do it well. And you get into a nice groove. So I'm just going to kind of demonstrate, how we can go a little bit faster to achieve some throughput. Right, always checking with the guest, right? That one area, right? Rinse, repeat, right? Grabbing that on my next vehicle.
And again, you notice he's rinsing that hog's brush in one colored bucket before he soaks it again in the soap solution ready for the next vehicle. And we have to rinse because that's how we get any sediment off of the brush prior to treating the next vehicle.
Telling him to stop, give me 1 second. I'm just going to take a look at your retracts. This car's pretty clean, so I'll just give him a little spray. Again, there's not a lot of surface solids here. That wash is going to do a really good job of cleaning that off.
You're going to do the rear license plate on that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I missed that. Okay. License plate. Let's see the retracts.
while you finish up, Jake, I'm just going to make a couple final points before we close out the video. The key things for you to know in this prep process that we're now using is that, as you're seeing now demonstrated by Jacob, one, use the prep gun first before we use the brush, not necessarily on the glass and on the license plate, but on the paint. Before we blow off any solids or brush off any solids, we want to use the prep gun first. On the license plate and that rear scoop, okay to use the brush, even without using the prep gun right away if it's not heavily soiled. You notice the extremes he's going to make sure that he's communicating with the guest on any aftermarket components. He's looking at the rear of the vehicle. He's either inspecting it physically or using his cameras. He's using his VQ to add retracts. And again, he uses his paddles to communicate clearly and consistently with the guest. He makes sure the guest sees neutral, no brake. He goes the extra mile to make sure they're aware of that. And this procedure repeats over and over again. Again, rear scoop, license plate, front and rear. We don't use more extensive brushing or more extensive prep gun spraying unless it's a heavily soiled vehicle. And we always use the prep guns before we use the brushes on the paint of a vehicle. It's done properly. This is about a 10 to 15 second load. It is done, as you can see demonstrated here by Jacob, by the boss alone, without a wingman. And all of these things, including communicating and noticing aftermarket components, is easily done by the boss when the procedures are effectively processed. Thanks very much.